trusting a resilient tool's usefulness. So you might be preparing food, preparing a meal, preparing something to survive. This can be like cutting into something. But also it has to do with like trusting your tools, trusting the tools that you already have, that you have the tools you need to be able to manage and cut into the meat or cut into the outdoors perspective. Receiving an authentic unknown. You might be an individual where currently experiencing like a new, venturing out into the unknown, venturing out into a new environment, connecting to the earth. Of course, is regarding the authentic unknown. There's something about you trusting, you needing to trust the tools you are provided for, the tools that you already have, in order to have that resilience into the force, into the unknown, into trusting that you already have all the tools in order to prepare you to camp out in the forest or to discover something new, or that if something approaches you where you need to survive, that the earth, nature, forest can provide you with that. So it's like survival instincts. It's also in trusting and preparation also that you have all the tools you need already in order to venture out into the unknown. It could be a time where you're collecting or you're going out into the unknown. It doesn't have to do about like survival in regards of like killing an animal to eat. It could be that trusting that you have the tools in order to survive into the unknown, trusting that you can jump into the unknown, trusting yourself to know that you packed all the tools you need, and not like, oh, I need a special kind of knife to cut into this meat, cutting into something new. You're cutting something open, something fresh, collecting, like going out into the woods and collecting mushrooms or collecting natural ingredients, potentially for survival. But the forager is just essentially, they're just going out into nature and nature is providing them. So you can trust that you are being provided sustainability in order to like go out there and collect. You already have the tools you need in order to accept unknown aspect of nature. Nature has a positive side, there's a beauty to it, but it also has a ferocious side, and that it could be like preparing yourself for the winter. Forager, it is winter time, December, so it could be preparing for the hibernation, collecting all the food. If you're an individual that already lives in the woods, you know that there's more of an inclusive relationship with nature and survival, and that you count on natural world, collecting food, pickle jars. I'm getting like pickle jars or like food jars, and like starting to create a food system in order to survive out in the hibernation of winter. But with that comes with actually going out in nature, collecting the data or collecting the food, cutting into fresh meat, like you're cutting into something fresh, you're experiencing something new. Experience that freshness by showing up in authentically, like show up and experiencing the authentic unknown, because you're cutting into something that provides an authentic experience for you right now. Ooh. Taking advantage of someone else or stealing information. This could be like AI, like where in order to get your information we're using like ChatGPT, but you have to consider like when we're using ChatGPT, you still have your ethics inclined in how you gain that information. I'm actually gonna put the cards like this. What's interesting is behind the forager we have the conservationist. So this kind of has to do with like pickling jars or food jars, conserving your energy or conserving your resources for the winter hibernation. Envisioning a responsible future, which is very like Aquarius age of Aquarius, kind of like envisioning your future. That might be where like the authentic unknown, going into an experience and actually experiencing it for what it is, and not trying to going into a situation with like preconceived notions of what it's going to be, but just like showing up as how you are and seeing what the experience can show you. Is just cutting into a new experience, trusting the tools that you have. And I'm also getting like right now there's a period of foraging information. I mean, that could, yeah, like maybe foraging information in some sense. Foraging is like lying. It's like to be someone you're not. It's stealing information for yourself, but you didn't actually. When people forage their signature, so it's just like getting something from stealing. So maybe you're an individual where you felt doesn't have to be you, because this is very like shadow energy. But you're an individual that felt like you had to steal information to get what you want, and it's not emotionally fulfilling you anymore. So you're moving away. So you might have built up something, gotten some information, but it's not emotionally fulfilling anymore, and like moving away from that. The 8 of Cups is about not being emotionally fulfilled by something that we built up, and making that choice to be like, do I keep building up the cups to a foundation that I'm not emotionally fulfilled with, that I'm not emotionally connected with, or do I walk away and find something else? Venture out into the unknown. So I feel like this is something new, but there's something in this energy with someone that has to do with like you're walking away from getting your way by stealing, or just like suspicious behavior where you're taking credit for someone else's information, because Swords is about information, media, knowledge, the head chakra, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. This could be about like someone's not credible for the information they received, lying, constantly lying, and walking away from that, because either lying isn't emotionally fulfilling you anymore, it's not exciting, you don't get anything from it, and it's taking that step, being like, even if you built up, maybe it's building up something that might have emotionally fulfilled you, but it's made up out of lies. Now we have the High Priestess. Listen to your intuition. We have the Page of Wands. So even if you're walking away, stealing is unsustainable. That's what the message is telling me. Like, stealing is unsustainable. But even if you're walking away from something you built up, it's very emotional. It takes courage to realize something that we've started to create a foundation on. Like, it's not sustainable. It's not something that emotionally fulfills us, so it's not sustainable. And you're moving into the Page of Wands, and Page of Wands is about inspiration. It's about excitement. It's not the King of Wands. It still has this inspiration of he's holding this wand, this opportunity and this passion of where will this lead. He has this feather, this enlightenment, which the Fool, the new journey, also has, where it's like you're getting a message, you're getting messages. Again, listening to your High Priestess, those intuitive messages of something isn't sitting right. And we will see what the 7 of Swords with 8 of Cups is. You're moving into like inspiration, being inspired by life, and you can see like he's in this desert, pyramids, Egypt. He's in this desert where there's no life, but still there's an opportunity for growth, for expansion, this childlike wonder for life. And salamanders are able to regrow. So it's like with 8 of Cups with the Page of Wands, this tells me even when there's nothing on the land, there's no sign of water, there's still this regeneration. So I'm also getting with the Forager, it could be refurbishing yourself, refurbishing your resources, trusting your resources. That's the High Priestess, trusting the messages that come through, those enlightenment moments, trusting the tools that you have and using those tools to venture out authentically into the unknown. Venture out authentically into the unknown. I want to repeat that because that is important. You're venturing out to what comes next. And in order to get that inspiration, that excitement, you have to actually go out there. Just trust that you already have the tools to find that, to sustain yourself, to find that inspiration and excitement of where this wand will reach you. You're moving away from lies and deception and trying to get some information or something, going behind people's backs and venturing out to like adventure. You're going out on an adventure and trusting that even if there's nothing there, desert, that there will still be life, because he's holding a wand, and from that wand there is growth. Even if in the environment there's no growth, even if in the environment there's no growth. emotional growth. And then from that inspiration, it's just continuously mastering a craft. It's continuously working on yourself. So it's from that inspiration, you're going to find something that will provide you money, but it comes through self-sustaining yourself and mastering that craft to continue rolling in the dough, to continue rolling in the pentacles. You do have the King of Wands. And I was saying that the Page of Wands isn't the King of Wands, but the Page of Wands still has the same symbolism. You see the salamanders, regeneration, regrowth, the ability to be resilient, face of deficit. What is the Seven of Swords and Eight of Cups? There is someone in this that you're walking away of. So I don't think you have anything to worry about because you're walking into inspiration, to growth, to expansion. It's something that you have to actively work on to master. It's still something that's that inspiration is actually going to transpire into abundance. It takes your own intuitive knowledge, that high priestess energy, to realize like this emotional foundation of it is on lies. The foundation of it is on bondage, is on lies, is on emotional manipulation. The devil tells us that like we feel like we're bonded to something. It's this false bondage made out of lies. And there could be someone in your life who's like emotionally trying to manipulate you into thinking like, oh, this is a soul bond, we're meant to be together, you're a bad person, you leave. But in reality, you're moving into inspiration, you're moving into something exciting that will lead to, even if you have to actively work on those pentacles will grow, those pentacles will expand. That inspiration, passion, that fire. Wands is a fire, so it's following that. The Page of Wands tells you to follow that inspiration, and it will lead to you working with your hands a physical product, which will reproducing it until you master it, or reproducing it to sell it more. I want to look into this bondage. Someone might have bonded you, a false bondage. I think this is like a false emotional foundation that you're realizing. This emotional foundation is actually made out of lies. Like there's no actual substance to it. There's no actual emotional connection. Like it's a false pretense of, oh, I'm emotionally connected to this person. But that emotional connection is based out of lies, out of emotional manipulation, out of emotional blackmail. Like, oh, you're no one if you leave me. And that's what the devil is. It's like a false pretense of like, we're connected to this person, but that connection comes from like manipulation, this dark psychology of grappling with your shadow self, or your ego, or whatever you want to call it. But it's based out of lies. Like this connection. But I mean, you're walking away. But let's see, what Queen of Swords is devil. I'm struggling to get over the past. Soul contract, literally what I was saying. Like this could be a person who manipulates you through forgiveness, through victim blaming, through putting themselves on a pedestal of like a false God, a false Jesus, where they're putting themselves in there. They have this like Jesus prophecy, or they think they are God, or they like literally crucify themselves, but it is from the devil energy, the shadow of trying to control, of trying to confine you. And this person is trying to create like a soul contract. It's not a soul contract out of emotional fulfillment. It's a soul contract out of like stealing, lying to you. Devil energy. Yeah, this is a person who's absent in your life. They are literally using emotion, like they're victim blaming. They're trying to use emotional manipulation to like make someone, that is an emotional manipulation tactic where someone tries to like, they have you confess all their feelings, and then they use that to manipulate you. So it's like, notice, are you the one constantly confessing your darkest, deepest secrets, and then that person is using that to lie, create a foundation out of lies. And absence, you could feel like this person could feel like there's a hole in them, so they have to constantly use people. This person could have a pattern of using people to create that emotional foundation. So I would watch out, whoever this is for.